Good evening, YouTube. Tonight I want to show you my Stephen King book collection. I have 7 books in total, and I'm actually not a huge fan of Stephen King. I've only read 2 of his books, and I didn't go around buying as many books as possible. I only bought 2. These were all given to me by other people, except for 2 of them, which I bought at a bookstore in Adelaide, Australia, interestingly enough. So the first one I have to show you is Stephen King, Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This book, a friend of mine in school gave to me after he won a quiz or a competition or something, and he got a prize, which was a book. And he wasn't much of a book reader, so he said, "Here, you can have it," because he knew I loved reading. So that was nice of him. Pet Sematary, I'm a little nervous. If I didn't read it, I have not read it, but I'm a little nervous reading it because I read in the earlier pages that Stephen King himself considers it to be his most disturbing book of them all. What his readers and his fans say, that's an entirely different thing, but Stephen King himself thought Pet Sematary was his most disturbing book. I'm a little scared. But it is on my TBR. I will read it one day, just I don't know when. Next book. Black House, written jointly by Stephen King and Peter Straub. This is actually a sequel to a book called The Talisman. My mother bought this book for me. I don't want to read a sequel when I haven't read the original, and it has links to this really large series which I'm not going to invest in, which is the Dark Tower series. So it has connections to the Dark Tower book series, which I'm not interested in. So it's Stephen King and Peter Straub's Black House. Yeah, there you go. Needful Things. Now this one I bought at the bookstore in Australia, and I read this one. This is the first of 2 that I actually read from cover to cover. It was a pretty long book, and this one gave me the chills. This one gave me thought about the human condition, like what buttons would need to be pressed so that I would unleash violence or that the evil within me would emerge. What buttons would be pressed for me? I don't know. It's a scary thought. So that's Needful Things. That's the first book that gave me some thought. Misery. This one is about a writer, about an author. I'm a writer myself. I also bought this one in Australia. Yeah, it's an interesting premise, but I never got around to reading it. But I will one day. But I'm just not much of a Stephen King fan and enthusiast anyway. But Misery, yeah. Bag of Bones. This one is the other book that my mother bought for me. I haven't read that one yet. No commentary on it, except to say that I heard it's a kind of a romance novel with some supernatural elements. Interesting. The Long Walk. Now this one I got out of I found amongst hundreds of old books at my parents' home. But this one is in Dutch, so I can't read a lick of it. My Dutch speaking is better than my Dutch reading. My Dutch reading is horrible. So I can't read this. But the thing is, this is one of the Stephen King books that fascinate me because it's set because the concept of walking to your death and the fact that it's a dystopian America, dystopian society in the manner of, I don't know, Hunger Games. So it's a blood sport there. I am interested in this one. It's also one of his earlier books. So if this were not in Dutch, I would read it. And lastly, this is the only other book that I've read by Stephen King, Rose Matter. This one had with a painting that you can go into, the supernatural element to it. It was like very surreal, strange, not exactly my cup of tea, but the looming monster, the abusive husband that the protagonist, which is a poor woman, is running away from. Yeah, he was scary. He's a scary monster. Oh boy, the abusive husband. Yeah, yeah. The villain, the monster in this one really gave me the chills. So Stephen King did well on this one. I finished it. The surreal element, not for me, but it was interesting. It was interesting. So yeah, those are my thoughts on my Stephen King book collection. Um, I don't intend on reading most of these books, but I've already read two of them, so I don't intend on reading the other five in the near future. But I might. I might. Because I'm not a Stephen King fan. And yet, by serendipity, I have 7 books that he wrote. All right. But yeah, even though I don't intend on reading these in the near future, the goal of this channel is to make as many book recommendations as possible by showing you my collection and making book reviews. Those book reviews will be coming very soon. I promise. I promise. In the meantime, I will continue showing you my book collection, gradually showing them all to you. And of course, I will also show you new books that I buy, which I don't think I'll be doing book hauls in the near future, but we'll see. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.